The Gentleman's Curse. Let's rewind the tape. 2024. The championship battle between Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin was a powder keg waiting to blow. Martin, on that satellite Pramac, was risking everything, breaking deeper, pushing wilder, risking tires, risking bones to bring down the factory prince. And Pecco? He wasn't fighting. He was calculating. Rewatch Thailand. Rewatch that post-race debrief. He wasn't angry. He wasn't even frustrated. He was reflective, talking about mistakes, talking about control, talking like a school teacher who lost a quiz, not a world champion who just got punched in the mouth. That's when Davide Tardazzi pulled him aside and dropped the hammer. You can't be a gentleman every time. And that's it, isn't it? Maybe that's the issue. Maybe Pecco truly believes racing should be clean, tactical, a test of skill, not savagery. Maybe he thinks everyone's supposed to ride smooth, polite, and within the lines. But Jorge didn't. Marc sure as hell doesn't. And here's the burn. We've seen your dark side, Pecco. We know it's in you. Jerez 2024. You slammed the door on Marc Marquez like your life depended on it. Sepang 2024. You squeezed Martin to the edge and didn't flinch. The greatest battle of all time. Valencia 2023. You hung that bike on the edge of physics to seal the title with a win. Aragon 2023. You defended like a dog with a bone, and your first win came defending Marc in his own backyard. So don't lie to us. Don't lie to yourself. You've got the fangs. You just don't want to use them. But this isn't chess anymore. This is gang war. And you're still out here waiting for people to play by rules that don't exist. So we ask, what is stopping you? The ghost of Marc? The fear of making a mistake? The pressure of legacy? We don't want your apologies. We don't want your press statements. We don't want you explaining tire pressures and chassis-fassy feelings and wind direction. We want the Pecco who fights. The Pecco who risks it all. The Pecco who makes us believe again. Because right now, you're fading under the lights, and the world's watching. You're a two-time champion. Start riding like one. The unraveling of a champion, Pecco Bagnaia's struggle against a ghost and a new reality. Let's not dance around it. Pecco Bagnaia is getting cooked alive in his own kitchen, and the chef wearing the red apron now? His name is Marc Marquez. This isn't about a few bad weekends or bad luck. This is a slow, methodical collapse of a two-time world champion who suddenly looks allergic to risk, allergic to aggression, and allergic to the very essence that made him Ducati's chosen one. The numbers are ugly, but the psychology? It's even uglier. 213 points, 1 inherited win, 7 podiums, 0 control. This is what Bagnaia's 2025 season looks like. Compare that to Marc Marquez, 381 points, 6 Grand Prix wins, 7 sprint victories, and a mental stranglehold over the grid. You can talk setup issues, riding style, tire windows, whatever. But here's the thing. Why does the guy on the same bike look like a monster, while the champion looks like a guy trying not to crash out of Q2? You know what's worse than losing the championship? Not even being in the damn fight. Bagnaia didn't just lose the crown. He watched the train leave the station and didn't even try to chase it down. It's like he's still standing on the platform, clutching a suitcase full of excuses. Let's break it down. The fear that wears number 93. Go back to the exact moment the spiral began, June 2024. Ducati announces Marc Marquez is coming to the factory team. That was the crack, not in Ducati's armor, but in Bagnaia's mind. A crack that started small, just whispers of comparison, and turned into a full-blown mental collapse. This isn't a rivalry, it's an exorcism. Marquez isn't racing Bagnaia, he's haunting him. From the moment the deal went public, Bagnaia started second-guessing everything. His approach, his pace, his worth. And every race since then has felt like Pecco trying to convince himself he still belongs at the top. Meanwhile, Marquez isn't convincing anyone, he's just taking heads and leaving tire smoke in his path. Pecco's whole strength used to be calm under fire. Now he can't even light the fuse. You watch him race and wonder, does he still believe he can win? Or is he just out there surviving? The GP25, weapon or excuse? Let's talk bike. Because Pecco sure as hell is. He says the GP25 doesn't suit him. Front-end confidence is gone. Braking zones are shaky. Turning feels vague. He can't ride it like the GP22 or GP23. Okay, fair. But here's the killer. If Marc can make it dance, what's your excuse? This is the same machine, same chassis, same engine, same data. The only difference is the guy on top. And that guy spent half a decade riding a wild Honda that tried to kill him every Sunday. If anyone should struggle adapting, it's Marc. Instead, he's unlocking lap records. Bagnaia? He's unlocking new synonyms for limbo. Let's not forget, the GP25 was developed with Bagnaia's feedback. He was the cornerstone, the captain, the compass Ducati used to evolve their most successful bike. And now, he's saying the evolution doesn't work. That's not just an indictment of the bike. That's a brutal self-own. You either built the wrong weapon or forgot how to use it. Pick one. The hollow numbers and the hollow fight. One win at Coda, a gift because Marquez binned it while leading. Without that crash, Pecco might still be winless. And that's not just about points, it's about mindset. Where's the rage? Where's the I don't care if I crash, I'm taking the fight to him energy? Pecco's riding like a man trying not to lose, not a man trying to win. And here's the thing, he's already lost. The moment he shifted from predator to calculator, the throne was gone. Champions don't hold on. They attack, even when the math says it's over, especially then. Alex Marquez just punched a hole through the wall. You want insult added to injury? Alex Marquez, riding a year-old satellite GP24, is 48 points ahead of Pecco Bagnaia in the standings. Yes! You read that right. A guy who spent his whole career living in the shadow of his brother is now standing in the light Pecco can't reach. And it's not a fluke. It's aggression. It's comfort. It's belief. Alex rides like he's got something to prove. Pecco rides like he's afraid of what proving himself might cost. And Ducati? They're winning everything. Sprints, races, podiums, headlines. Their only blemish is the man they built their empire around. Now looks like the guy who can't close the gap to a satellite rider with a second-hand bike. The bigger question. Nobody is asking. Here's the grenade nobody wants to throw. Did Pecco Bagnaia ever truly dominate, or was he just the best in a vacuum left behind by a broken Marquez and a flailing Yamaha? Because when Marc was injured, when Fabio was fading, when Suzuki packed up shop, Pecco looked like the heir. But now the king is back, and the gap is colossal. The swagger is gone. The killer instinct? MIA. So what are we left with? A rider obsessed with the front tire, obsessed with harmony, obsessed with balance. But MotoGP doesn't reward harmony. It rewards violence, controlled chaos, late braking, dirty lines, elbows out, risk. Marquez built his kingdom on that. Bagnaia built his on predictability. Now that unpredictability is back in the paddock, Pecco looks lost. The game changed. He didn't. The future. Adapt or disappear. The remaining 10 races aren't about winning the title. That's dead and buried. This is about saving face. This is about legacy. This is about whether Pecco Bagnaia becomes a footnote in Marquez's story or a chapter in his own redemption arc. The problem? Pecco doesn't ride like a man hunting redemption. He rides like he's trying to delay the inevitable. If he wants to save anything, he needs to go full kamikaze. Burn the points. Burn the logic. Burn the data sheets. Just go to war. Full attack mode. No second guesses. Either find a way to make the GP25 bleed for you or bleed trying. Otherwise, history will say you were champion only when the storm had passed. And that when the storm came back with a number 93 on the front, you folded. So here's the final question. Pecco, you've got the bike, you've got the team, you've got the past. But what the hell do you have left to prove you belong in this era? Because if you're scared to fight when you've got nothing to lose, then maybe, just maybe, you were never the fighter everyone thought you were. And this isn't coming from a place of hate. It's coming from the pain of watching a champion fade while the real monster reminds the world what domination looks like. You want to be a legend? Then ride like your crown is worth killing for. Otherwise, step aside. Because the king is already home, and his throne is bigger than yours ever was.